I would really love to do that, but I just don't have the money. Well, stick around because today you get to learn, how can I solve my money problem? Every problem we face is a problem with thinking. I know you're here because you think you have a money problem. That might be the problem. Your thinking, I mean. We have to get to the bottom of our thinking problems in order to solve our money problems. I can tell you, if you think money is the problem, you don't really have a problem, because there are principles that will allow you to solve any money problem. Let's start with this one. Get real about income and expense. The short version for solving any money problem is to have more income than expense. You follow? What's going to happen if you have more income than expense? Will you have a money problem? No. So you got to get real about it. Now, what I've found as I do counseling and coaching with my clients is that sometimes they try to hide these problems, or they try to ignore or avoid them, or not admit them even to themselves. Get real about how your money is flowing, how much is coming in and from what sources, and why is it coming in, and how much is going out, and to whom, and why is it going out. These are the basic starting points. If you don't know what's going on with your income and expense, how are we going to solve your money problem? So get real about that. Start tracking every cent, every dollar. Be meticulous about this to see for real what's actually going on. That will give us the information that we need to take the next step. I've got a question for you next. Who's the boss? Who is the boss? Is it you or is it your money? If you keep blaming money that you can't do what you want to do, then who's the boss? I want you to be the boss. So once you get real about your income and expense, I want you to take over control of this whole dynamic. As the boss, you get to give every dollar a job. You assign it. Where is this dollar going to work? A dollar comes in. Now, where am I going to put this to work? You decide and you put it to work. The old taboo word for this that some people don't want to hear is budget. And budget is not restriction. Budget is the marching orders that you, the boss, are going to give to every dollar that comes into your operation. You're the boss. If you think of a budget as a restriction, and I don't get to do this because I don't have the budget for it, well, who's creating the budget? If you want to do it, then give the dollars that job. But if you don't have enough dollars coming in, if you've got more expense than you have income, we have a different problem. So what happens if you give a dollar a job and then you decide along the line that you want it to work somewhere else for you? Okay, reassign it. But if you take it off of the job of paying your rent and you put it onto the job of buying you a movie ticket, then it's not there to pay the rent. Who are you going to have to do that job? See, this is the idea. You've got to think of them as little employees. You're going to give every dollar a job. That's crucial. When I said earlier that every problem we face is a problem with thinking, part of the thinking we have to wrap our heads around is our own relationship with money. I'm talking from experience, okay? If you've read my book, Pathological Positivity, it starts out with a chapter called Lightning Strikes. This is a time in my own life where I should have been set. I should have had this figured out by now, but lightning struck and I was in the most troubling and difficult financial circumstances of my entire life. I realized a painful thing during that period as I was struggling financially, as I had these huge money problems and I didn't realize it was a problem with thinking because I thought that money had the power to save me. It's almost as if I was bowing down in worship to the great, powerful God of money. And that didn't sit well with me because I'm a man of faith and I don't worship that one. But I kind of did at the time. Think about it. If I believe that money can solve all my problems, then where am I placing my faith? That didn't ring well with me. You have a relationship with money. What is your relationship? Start thinking about that a little more clearly. And maybe what I've shared with you here will trigger something for you too. I want you to be the boss of your money. I don't want it to be your all-powerful being that you worship. As I was coming through that very difficult time of my life, a friend of mine lent me an audiobook, The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason. In this book, Mr. Clason continues to repeat a common theme, and that is this: a part of everything you make is yours to keep. Now, when I heard that, here's my thought. I will totally acknowledge where I was at that point. I thought, oh, that's very good advice. As soon as I'm doing better financially, I'm going to take that advice. Listen to my thinking. How prideful is that? It's like I'm saying, oh, you know what? Wise Mr. Clason, who wrote and sold thousands of copies of his book on finance, Mr. Genius, Mr. Guru of the financial world, that's great advice. But I'm going to figure out through my own staggering brilliance how to become better off financially. And then, O wise sage of the dollar, then I will take your wise advice. Do you see how prideful that is? Do you see how I was getting stuck in my own thinking? And I realized I needed to humble myself to receive this wise counsel from someone who has reasons to know. My relationship with money was such that I was not only worshiping it, but I thought that somehow I had the brilliance to come up with all the principles that obviously I was missing, because that's how I ended up in that position. I invite you to just get real about that for a minute. And that advice I am now passing on to you. Part of everything you make is yours to keep. That means that you are going to take a little portion of the dollars that come into your life and you will assign them to work in that particular area. And these little employees, you never want them to be consumed. So you're going to put them somewhere where all of the people who are coming after the money don't have access to it. A part of everything you make is yours to keep. Vicki and I started doing that as we were able to humble ourselves and accept that advice, and it changed the game entirely. This is powerful. A part of everything you make is yours to keep. And now finally, I alluded to this earlier. You have to produce more than you consume. A friend of mine, Jeff McGee, told me over dinner once. Now, Jeff is a brilliant psychologist. He consults with Fortune 500 companies and he speaks on stages all over the world, and he is a powerful business consultant. I'm having dinner with my friend Jeff McGee, and he looks across the table after I told him about my financial problems, my money problems, and he said, "Paul, you suck." I'm like, "Thanks, Jeff. I love you too." He's like, "No, I mean that in the most loving way. You suck resources. You're consuming more than you produce. It's evident in your financials. You cannot sustain that. You have to produce more than you consume." And the lights started to go on for me at that point. The answer to every financial problem is this: produce more than you consume. Remember, in step one, we're getting real about income and expense. That's why you have to do it. If you see from your financials that you suck too, like I did, that you're consuming more than you produce, that's the problem. And that brings up different questions. It's not where can I find more money, it's how can I create or produce more value for other people? Think about it. If you need a certain amount of money, does that money exist? That's a real question. Think about it. Does that money exist? I mean, somewhere in this world. Well, yeah, obviously it does. Okay, where? Where? Some people will say, oh, out there somewhere. I don't know. No, get clear. It's either in your pocket or it's in someone else's. True? So if it's not in your pocket right now, where is it? It's in someone else's pocket. Why would they give it to you? It's a legitimate question. Think about it. Why would they give it to you? And the only moral answer to that is that you have created or produced some kind of value for them, for which there is an exchange. They will happily give you the money that's in their pocket for the value that you have to offer to them. So the question becomes, how can I produce more value for more people? That's where the answer to your money problems will be found. It's a little more self-disclosure than you usually get from me. I want you to know why I understand these principles. If you want to help your kids with these, there's another video you can click on right up here about how to teach your kids about money. And I think you'll enjoy some of the points in that episode as well.
Standing in the street alone. Her head was down, face locked onto the phone.